Hey guys, good morning. Saturday morning here, really early. Got a big day, and so wanted to throw this video together for you guys pretty quick. Um, Talking about the Serpent S411 kit that I picked up from the hobby shop. I have got it this close to being ready to run. The only thing I'm waiting on now is to pick the correct motor system for it. This car's going to be brushless because we do intend on racing this car. Uh, but let me show you what it is. I'm pretty amazed by this rig. It's a nice kit. So let's get at it. Now, when I first built the thing, I didn't want to run the stock body. I was going to run something different. The body I had chosen had been on another chassis, already had holes drilled in it for that. And knowing that I'd had to put more holes in it, let me show you this one over here. It's an old Alfa Romeo body I'm real partial to, but it's already got holes drilled in it there. And I had to put more in it, and I just didn't want to have something that looked like Swiss cheese with four wheels running around a parking lot. So I opted to go ahead and use the pre-drilled stock body that my buddy Otto gave me, and it turned out great. I did buy a set of wheels for it. I've never heard of this company before, but these are by, what is it called? Something GQ or something. There's a mark down there. So, yeah, car's all GQ. But car turned out great. It does have steer servo in it. I do have a receiver for it. It's not in it right now. Again, I'm looking to get a motor system for it. Just haven't settled on which one. And there's one other issue that I got to figure out, but it's not a big thing. So I'm going to pull the body, show you guys what we got, and wrap this thing up pretty quick. You know, I'm not going to pick on Tamiya or Tamiya, whichever you want to call it, and say they build an inferior product after building this. And because I am a diehard Tamiya guy. I built numerous TT01s, 02s, even the TL01s from back in the day. I haven't messed with many other ones, but I know by building all of those with bearings and a couple modifications, you can have yourself a decent parking lot racing platform. But now if you compare those to this, you're talking apples and oranges. This thing is incredible. The chassis plate, most of the parts in period are like a carbon composite. It's not a carbon fiber, but like a carbon composite. And just slick, just really, really slick. Full bearings throughout, came with a kit. The dual belt drive system is amazing. I've had that on other rigs before. Old HPI RS4, I believe, had those. And it was a little wonky, but this one is super, super slick. Everything is incredibly tight. There's no slack. It's very smooth as far as operation. The only problem that I had with it when building it, the rear differential back here, they called for an O-ring when you sandwich the two plates together, and my kit didn't have the O-ring, so I had to put it together without it. It's leaked a little bit, but not much to hurt anything. And then the only other issue that I had with it was up here with the front when you go to mount the steering servo. Now, I know that's a crazy looking connection there, but let me explain. The provided turnbuckle, which looks a lot like the turnbuckles here for the for each individual side on the steering, did not, for some reason, one end of it just didn't have, the threads weren't correct, and so I couldn't get one of the ball cups to start. And I know that's a crazy thing, and it sounds so simple and so, so small, but I tried working on that thing and getting it to stay together for every bit of 20 minutes, and it just didn't feel solid. So what I did was took an M2 screw, fairly long M2, threaded this ball cup here into it, and then cut the head off the other end. And this is nothing more than a Traxxas captured ball or rod end, whatever you want to call it, threaded onto that end where I cut the head off the screw, and then attached to the steering arm or the steering horn on the servo. It works fine. Steering works great. It does rub just a little bit, but nothing terrible. So I'm not worried about that. The main issue that I've had, and I know there's going to be one more that I'll talk about in just a second, but the main issue as far as getting it this far was mounting the servo. If you can tell that I cut the ears off, or the mounting spots off of this servo to make it just a little more narrow because of that spot right there. If I'd have left it there, then the mounting place for this side here would have been incredibly close to the belt, and I didn't want to risk tearing it up. But in the manual online, there's a plate. You see the servo comes down on this plate, and then these on, this is a mounting block for it. Mounts to the plate, it mounts to the chassis and everything. Well, my kit didn't have that for some reason. I looked high and low, didn't know if I'd misplaced it or whatever. So what I wound up having to do, it says over here, you can see this, you can mount the servo. You can mount most brand servo directly to the chassis with double-sided tape. Well, that's what I had to do. I don't like doing that, but I used some 3M two-sided tape and just mounted it solid. It's on there. I think it would take an act of Congress to get it off, but didn't want to do it, but I had to. I had no choice. Now, if I turn this chassis around, all right, whenever we go to mount the motor's going to come in from this side. Okay, so the motor's here. I'm going to mount the receiver either back here or somewhere upwards on either end of the chassis. I think it's going to be between the motor and the servo, which leaves this side to mount a battery. Now, the only other issue I'm having is that's an incredibly narrow place to mount a battery, and there are no battery strap or battery plates in this kit to mount it. So I've got to come up with something. There's two other small pieces that were left over. I'm thinking they've got something to do with it, but they're just like an L shape. Come out and turn in this way, turn this way, and they're that carbon composite stuff. So I'm going to have to utilize some kind of strap and maybe cut a slot here to keep a battery in. I don't know at the moment. I'm going to take it back down to the hobby shop, hopefully today, compare it to Otto's chassis, and try to get some information that way. But all in all, man, that is an awesome kit. It's trued out, as far as I could get it. I set up the caster and camber to be just straight on 90 degrees with a with a small framing square, so it's really, really close. It should track pretty good, and I'm anxious to get it, to get it completed and get it out there and start turning some laps with this thing and just see how it is. This has been one awesome kit to build. So would I recommend this car? Yeah, absolutely I would. If you're a guy that likes to do, just playful parking lot racing with a bunch of guys, I think this would be an awesome kit to pick up, put together, give yourself just a slight advantage, because this thing is, I can see this thing to being damn near surgical on a racetrack. It's definitely a step up from any Tamiya platform that I've built so far. Not to say that they don't have some nice kits out there, but it's better than anything I've built in a long time. So anyway, price point on it, I paid, I think it was $199. Now, mind you, I got the body for free, so it did not come with a body. So you'd be $200 deep in it. You'd have to find a body if you don't have one already. Obviously, a set of tires and then your electronics, but you'd have one heck of a race car by the time you got it done. But there it is. my S411 Serpent. Getting closer to being race ready. Hope you guys are doing well. Enjoy your weekend. Take good care. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Check us out over on Instagram. There's a link off the channel homepage here on YouTube. Till next time, we'll catch you on the next video, guys. Take care.